We begin in 2231 BC at the ancient city of Akkad, located in Mesopotamia within Western Asia, where an Akkadian general named Balathu is about to kill a Gutian warrior named Karum as a sacrifice, but is stopped by a guard who says that the Akkadian king, Naram Sin, is demanding Balathu's presence. In the throne room, Naram Sin says that sacrifices are required to win the battle against the Gutians, starting with a Gutian woman. After killing her, Balathu is sent to battle, while Karum manages to escape from his prison cell by killing the jailer. An eclipse begins, and with it, the battle between the Akkadians and Gutians, causing a commotion which leads to the awakening of something sinister underground. Balathu and Karum meet again in the throne room and form an alliance, together trying to escape through the catacombs. However, they're attacked by vicious creatures and, despite attempts to fight back and escape, they seemingly die. Afterward, the curator, a mysterious entity who oversees these events from his remote repository, introduces himself. In 2003, a U.S. military group gathers at Camp Slayer in Iraq, located in modern-day Mesopotamia within the Middle East. First Lieutenant Jason Kolchak, Lieutenant Colonel Eric King, Eric's assistant Dr. Clarice Stokes, Eric's wife and CIA field officer Rachel King, Rachel's secret lover Sergeant Nicholas Nick Kay, Corporal Nathan Merwin, and Lance Corporal Jose Joey Gomez. They all gather in the briefing room, where Eric explains that with the help of Kalis, a satellite program he developed, something resembling an underground storage facility was found in the military zone, where chemical weapons could potentially be stored. Having explained the plan of action and prepared, the squad is sent to the target landing zone. Meanwhile, Iraqi Lieutenant Salim Othman arrives home with a present for his son Zain on his 18th birthday. However, he's approached by Captain Dar Basri, who informs him of the Americans' pending arrival, forcing Salim to join him for battle. Upon landing, the U.S. military group inspects nearby huts for an entrance to the underground, but is attacked by an Iraqi patrol group, which kills Joey. Suddenly, an earthquake occurs, plunging both the Americans and the Iraqis into the underground of the Zagros Mountains. While both sides explore around the caverns trying to find a way out, they encounter sinister creatures that hunt them. Eric and Rachel stumble upon Naram Sin's throne room and discover the remains of a group of British archaeologists known as the Randolph Expedition, before being ambushed by Dar. They attempt to escape through a giant chasm when an aftershock causes Rachel to fall, but she is saved when Eric throws her a rope secured to his waist. While trying to pull her up, Eric is pulled down with her towards the edge and is forced to cut the rope joining them to save himself, causing Rachel to fall into the chasm below. The curator reappears, briefly discussing the relationship between the soldiers and the fates of Rachel, Eric, and Merwin, before stating that the path from hell to the light is long and hard. Eric reunites with Nick and Jason before the generator they previously repaired is sabotaged, leading the group to fix it again and search for the culprit. To their surprise, they hear what sounds like Joey's voice, and while looking for him, encounter Dar. During the skirmish, Dar throws a grenade, causing a small structural collapse, separating Nick from the others. Walking through the caves alone, Nick encounters Salim, who warns him of a nearby creature, informing him that they react to sound and burn in sunlight before they work together to kill it, with Nick shooting it as a distraction while Salim sneaks up behind it to pierce its heart with a metal stake. Eric finds him and orders Nick to tie Salim up, taking him prisoner, as well as dragging the creature's corpse back to the throne room for examination. Jason and Nick fortify the surrounding area by placing cameras and explosives, while Eric interrogates Salim and begins an autopsy of the creature's body. When Eric uses his portable handheld ultraviolet, or UV, lamp to check the corpse for fluids, it sets the creature on fire. Rachel survives the fall into the chasm by landing in a massive pit of blood. While looking for a path out, a creature begins to chase her, but Clarice saves her, showing her the way and blocking the passage behind them. They begin climbing to the top of the chasm, but along the way, Clarice becomes ill and Rachel notices something moving under the skin in her throat, realizing that she's been infected by the creatures. Upon reaching the top, they discover that they're on the wrong side of the chasm, and Rachel throws a roped grappling hook, allowing her to swing across, before throwing the rope back to Clarice so she can cross too. While exploring the nearby area, Jason and Nick find an old, damaged transmission tower with wire leading to the surface. While investigating, Jason is attacked by Joey, who has become infected. Eric arrives and uses his UV lamp on Joey, causing his body to burst into flames as he falls into the chasm, revealing noises from a swarm of creatures below. While patrolling the perimeter, Nick finds the archaeologist's radio, discovering it's broken, and while attempting repair, it emits a noise which begins to attract the distant swarm below. Merwin fixes it just before being shot in the head and killed by Dar, allowing the remaining group to call in air support before the radio is destroyed. The group escapes into the temple and begins to close its doors, but they hear Rachel and let her in with Clarice. Eric realizes that Rachel is cheating on him with Nick, and they start fighting each other, but Rachel manages to defuse the situation. Clarice falls ill again, and Rachel explains that she is infected, before convincing the group not to kill her, and to instead try and find a way to cure her. The creatures rush the temple doors, and while part of the group holds them back, Rachel runs to fix the generator, which has begun to fail again, causing the area's lighting to flicker. The group escapes into the catacombs, with Jason and Rachel covering their retreat using an old machine gun turret. After destroying the hallway behind them with explosives, the group reaches the entrance to the sacrificial chamber, where they again encounter Dar and Salim. Hearing the approach of more creatures, the two groups decide to work together and head inside the chamber, but Clarice again falls ill, now on the verge of death, is left behind, and dies. In the chamber, the group is ambushed by a swarm of creatures, and an intense, all-out battle ensues. During this, they encounter an infected Karum, referred to as the Ancient One, still in the catacombs after over 4,000 years. Through their combined efforts, the group manages to survive and is separated, except Dar, who is torn apart by a pack of the creatures. Jason and Salim re-encounter each other and decide to continue working together, reflecting on the creatures and concluding that they're vampires, the source of the myths. They find the temple's original prison cells, which the archaeological team repurposed into a medical bay, where Jason draws a directional arrow with his initials into the ground, indicating their path for any of the group that may be following behind them. From there, they continue on into the caves, finding the archaeologist's rudimentary elevator leading deeper down, and descend in order to avoid a group of vampires they hear approaching. The curator appears again, further commenting on the transpiring events and eagerly awaiting the outcome. Eric, Rachel, and Nick reunite in the chamber, now empty, except for the Ancient One, who chases after them. Escaping from him, the group reaches the medical bay cells, where Rachel finds Jason's directional message. Before going after the others, Eric and Nick ask Rachel to finally choose one of them, and Rachel chooses Eric, deciding to give their marriage another chance. Meanwhile, Salim and Jason reach the bottom of the elevator shaft, finding themselves on a giant spaceship. While exploring it, they find several cocoons and fossilized alien corpses, one of which breaks apart when Jason touches it, causing him to breathe in the dust of its remains. They also discover Balathu's body, still alive, partially preserved in its original form by a mysterious fluid. After observing his ancient armor and realizing that he's been trapped for millennia without aging or decomposing, Salim performs a mercy killing on Balathu. Passing by many more cocoons, one of the vampires emerges and attacks them, but Eric, Rachel, and Nick catch up to them, helping them escape. The group enters the Star Chamber, where they examine the alien devices present, review the notes left behind by the archaeologists, and Rachel has a vision of the spaceship crashing to Earth. From these findings, they conclude that the aliens were originally a peaceful and advanced race living on a distant planet, but a parasitic infection turned them into vampires, destroying their empire and causing them to escape aboard the spaceship, which was an Ark. Unfortunately, the parasitic infection was still present aboard the Ark, causing further destruction and leading them to crash land on Earth, deep underground, where they hibernate until living creatures approach their lair, only able to emerge from the ground in the absence of sunlight, at night, to feed on blood. Rachel realizes that she's infected from a bite sustained during the sacrificial chamber battle, and Eric uses his UV lamp on her, forcibly expelling the parasite from her body and allowing her to kill it. After reaching the cocoon vault, the heart of the lair, housing thousands of vampire cocoons, Nick volunteers to sacrifice himself by going and planting explosive charges to destroy the nest. As he places the charges, vampires begin to emerge from the nearby cocoons and surround him, along with the Ancient One, who reappears. Nick sends up a flare upon completing his work, signaling to the rest of the group that the explosives are ready for remote detonation, and Jason triggers it, causing the cocoons to burn in a fiery explosion. Nick survives the explosion, and radios the group for help before being attacked by the Ancient One, who is killed by Salim, saving Nick's life. As the group escapes back toward the elevator, Salim is separated from them. Surrounded by some of the remaining vampires, Jason rushes back to him, and together they defeat them before rejoining the group. While climbing back up to the surface, Eric and Rachel are attacked by vampire Clarice in the caves, with Rachel managing to kick her off a ledge, and she falls into the depths below. The group finally emerges into sunlight, at the location they originally fell from, and radio their nearby air support, just before an eclipse begins, allowing the vampires to follow them to the surface. The group runs into one of the huts, working together as a team to fight off the vampires before the air support helicopters arrive to assist. The eclipse ends, the remaining above-ground vampires are burnt to death by the sun, and the group is evacuated by helicopter. The curator reappears, congratulatory on the group's survival, but reflective on the lasting damage from the ordeal. At Camp Slayer, which has been quarantined for investigation, two overseers named Miller and Brooks observe the vampire autopsies and interrogations of the group members before commenting that the entire incident has been covered up to prevent the public's knowledge of it.